What's up, guys, and welcome to my review for Arthur the King. This stars Mark Wahlberg, and it's based on the incredible true story of Michael Light. Wouldn't that be a funny thing if his name was Flash? Michael Light, who goes on this expedition, this adventure race, this endurance race, but he's never able to finish. So he's taken a few years off because he was humiliated. And he gets his wits together and says, you know what? I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to win this time, and I'm going to finish this race. So he gets his team back together, including Simu Liu, who plays Shang-Chi, and he shines in this film, and he's part of the team. And along the way, they have to kayak, they have to hike, they have to bike ride, they have to do all these things. And along the way, the dog Arthur, which doesn't have a name, but he's given the name Arthur later in the film, he follows Mark Wahlberg's group until he becomes part of the group. Now, this is where the movie kind of lost me. Yeah, I don't think this is a great film. I think this is an okay movie. Like, you watch this movie and you say, you know what, this really works with Mark Wahlberg's story, that character, what he's trying to do, what he's trying to accomplish. You know, his wife used to be involved in it. She's like, you know what, go ahead, racers race, do your thing. So she was very supportive of him doing that again. So I was like, okay. And it was very easy for him to get the team back together. It just seemed very, very simple. So the movie feels very simple. Then they start to go on this race. So it takes about 30 minutes or so for the movie to actually get going. That's when the race actually starts. And you say, okay, we're gonna slowly get into this now. You get your first exciting sequence, which is like on a zip line. That was pretty cool, and some things down the line. But you meet the dog first in the town, and he's being chased by other dogs, and he's homeless, and he's been abused, has been said and indicated in the film. And he sees Mark Wahlberg's character, and he feeds him some meatballs, and then all of a sudden, miles and miles later, he meets up with the group again. So they say, how did this happen? Did he have wings? It's impossible. I don't know. That was the part of the story I was like, I'd like to know how that dog got from point A to point B. And if that's a true story, and that's really taken from real events, I guess we'll never know. But the first half of the movie, that first 30 minutes where it keeps cutting back to the dog, you know, it felt like the dog was completely irrelevant. I was like, you know what, this movie's called Arthur the King, but Arthur, the dog himself, just feels really irrelevant. And I'm a dog guy, I'm a dog person, but I mean, it's just like every time they cut back to the dog, it just felt like we were going to commercial break. And then when we would come back to Mark Wahlberg's thing. So once they get together and Mark Wahlberg sees the dog and the sort of resemblance that he has to the dog, a fighter and a strong will and all that, you know, they sort of get this bond, and I appreciated that. And then by the end of the film, you know, it's like the movie starts to become this tearjerker in a way. I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's like it becomes extremely melodramatic. It was like a sort of feel-good film, happy-go-lucky, and then all of a sudden, the last like 20 some minutes of the movie happens, and it's like, oh, this is getting kind of, you know, sad and depressing. And I don't think the movie earned those emotions. I just think us as human beings watching these events unfold and hearing certain things that are said, you know, we get emotional because we care for this dog as a dog because we like dogs. So the movie's kind of cheap in that sense, where they're pulling at your heartstrings, but not because of the screenplay, because you're dealing with a dog. So other than that, the film ends, and it's like, you know what? That was just kind of watchable, a harmless little movie that I feel like is probably going to just be forgotten in the vein of Mark Wahlberg films. Is it entertaining? Yeah, it's entertaining. And Simu Liu is the star, and he's the standout of the film. Even though I think Mark Wahlberg is good, everybody else is good, but Simu Liu is the standout. And yeah, is the movie really memorable? I don't think so. I probably would say the Channing Tatum dog movie was better than this one. And I don't think that was based off a true story, but I could be wrong. But in the end of the day, Arthur the King, it was kind of average to me, kind of middle of the road. Couldn't really get emotionally invested into it. It was a very light experience, and I got to give it 3 out of 5 stars. Liked it, didn't love it. Thought it was okay. So, guys, comment down below. Did you see Arthur the King? What are your thoughts about it? It's available to buy visually right now. So if you want to check that out, also it was in theaters for a little bit. So if you saw the film, what did you think about it? Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We got a big review up now for Challengers. Also reviews for the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man 2, Immaculate, Late Night with the Devil. You want to talk about some other big movies that came out in the past few months? Dune Part 2, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Lots of stuff to check out on the channel right now. Also, guys, you can follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingArises131. And that's been it for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for Arthur the King. And until next time, over and out.